Well, hello, and welcome back to another Comedians in Quarantine Solving Problems. I'm Stephen Allen. This?
And I'm Erich McElroy.
Look at this, we've come dressed the same today. I didn't realise.
Yep, I got stripes.
Oh yeah, I've gone checks, but too small for this crappy webcam to notice, so it just looks like I've gone office worker chic.
Yes, but I am not wearing trousers. And that is absolutely true.
Okay. The...
No.
Do you not worry about that? As soon as we get to the end of this lockdown thing, if you don't wear trousers at some point, you're going to never be able to go back. You'll be a bottomless person forever.
Well, to be honest, wearing this is so tight right now. I can barely breathe. So, I mean, I haven't worn a buttoned collared shirt it wasn't something I commonly did anyway, because I'm not on a national television program. So it's already
as well.
pushing up.
Some books.
Okay.
Oh, just to annoy you more as well, I got a message in the week of someone, it was Ed, saying, well done for putting all your books in the background. I mean, both. But they're there. I thought, just to annoy you even more, oh, look at that, copy of the Hackney Gazette. I wonder who writes a column in that every week. Couldn't find a copy of the Chad, but I will next time. There'll be one there. So look at this. I'm quite happy about the fact that this shirt doesn't make it look like I've gained neck weight, which is the only area of my body, save for the penis, that also hasn't gained weight. So,
well, you need to work on that part.
Have been doing. Let's just crack on. So if you've got any questions and comments, we'll be taking those through today's show. You can message on whichever platform you're watching this on. You should be able to get it there. Message to us. Jeff already says evening. This is the level of discussion we can get into. That's what I like about this.
Yeah. We're streaming now on so many different platforms. Neither of us can keep up.
Yeah. So the future. Before we get into too much, Eric, I'm bringing you. I got some good news and bad news, actually. This was in the newspapers over the weekend. I want to show you a picture. You see that picture there?
Yeah.
That is Prince William and Princess Catherine, whatever the official names are. And they've been doing these Zoom shows to people. Now, here's what I've noticed. Look at them. Look at us. Look at them.
Yeah.
They're doing live streaming web shows to people. Get the bald guy sat on that side, the one with the lustrous hair on that side. I think they're nicking our shit.
Yeah, but you notice they don't have to put on a tie.
Oh, yeah.
You see, we could cash this up. I'm just saying, we still look well. We could wear good on the top.
Mm-hmm.
We still don't have to wear anything on the bottom.
Hang on, let me go back and you can't tell, they might not be.
They are smiling.
Oh, actually, if we follow the angle of her arm and the look on his face. Okay. So also, in terms of bringing us pictures, I wanted to see if headlines are visible via this web streaming thing. There's a headline from today. Asda and Aldi introduced no-touch policy in face of corona pandemic, which is good news. It means that the strip dancing places, the strip clubs had it right all along.
Yeah.
And I posted that on Twitter earlier, and someone replied, Sophia replied saying, "It's not true, Steve. Sometimes I let them slip a finger in."
Oh.
To which I replied, which Asda did you work in? Because so we're up to date. This is episode 5 of our show. Hopefully, are you keeping well in yourself, Eric?
Yeah, so far so good. We've been pretty. I've started cycling this week, which is new, but because going out with a bike ride with the kids. But I don't like cycling when I'm this heavy because when my legs come up, they hit my belly, and it's just. It's so uncomfortable.
What a chafe.
Oh, it's just not good. And also doesn't help that when I'm cycling, I'm not wearing trousers then either.
That's nice. They do that every so often. No, they do the naked bike ride, and that is of all the activities. I agree with the freedom of humans to be naked, and I love the fact that bikes are carbon free. But when you overlap those two, when you're in a car behind someone on a bike who's naked. Oh, when you can see the light of day through there, it's when you work out if the traffic lights have changed by looking. Oh, Lord.
Yeah, especially when you go off-road biking, those bumps. Whoa.
So I've been hanging in there as well, been coping. That was wrong choice of words after we just talked about scrotums on bikes. Now I wanted to bring us an update. Last time we did one of these shows, we were talking about Kellyanne Conway in America bothered me by getting some maths wrong. And you know what I'm like, I do get annoyed. We'll play you the clip again. She said,
this is COVID-19, not COVID-1, folks.
No, it's not. No. It's not COVID. They're not naming them. And the last time we did a show, I pointed out they're not being named like police academy shows. They're not sequentially sequenced. And then I did a little rant about how America, you are the country that apparently changed the title of the film The Madness of George III to The Madness of King George, because there was apparently genuine worry that some of your fellow countrymen would at some point see the poster and say, what's this? The Madness of George III? Why, I ain't even seen the first two. And no one would get to see it. Then I started to calm down. Then I saw this clip.
Why do you think this is COVID-19? This is the 19th coronavirus.
It's not the 19th coronavirus. We would remember. If I'd been in lockdown this many times, I think I could, I would have bought more toilet roll ahead of time. Just because something's got a number at the end of it doesn't mean they are sequentially numbered. Like the Mexico 88, the World Cup, right? Wasn't the 88th one that they'd done. George Michael's song Freedom 90. How many versions of that do you think he'd done? Now that's what I call music 105. That one actually is. They do too many of those.
You see, it's very confusing. I mean, if you add a number after a name, that's like if I've got a friend who's named Harrison Smith III. I'm assuming there's two other Harrison Smiths.
There's no. Well, I'll tell you what there is. There's one Harrison Smith who's got ideas above his station. That's all that's happened right there. I think you could probably, by default, change your name to have numbers after it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what number would you choose?
I don't know what's going on with your home country with their inability to work out that COVID-19. It's so obvious. It's just from last year. Do they not remember what the year was last year? That Rush Limbaugh guy, whatever his name is, he's never seen 2001, Space Odyssey. He must look at that and think, I'm never going to catch it with Breaking Bad, let alone all of these films. So that's been one thing that's been bothering me somewhat. But look, I know when it comes to analysis of America, you're the guy to turn to on this.
Yeah, I mean, Rush Limbaugh is always a special case. Trump was considering, actually, instead of doing his daily briefings, which he's been doing, he was considering doing a radio show instead, but he didn't want to get in the way of Rush Limbaugh.
Really?
Yeah. So, I mean, you have that clip of Rush Limbaugh you thank Donald Trump for that clip. If Donald Trump had gone with his radio show, Rush might have gotten bumped, and then you would have had Trump bollivating about COVIDs and things. Although he has stopped calling it the Wuhan virus or the China virus because he still wants to do a trade deal with China. So he wants to do Trade 20, which will be the trade deal in 2020, not the 20th trade deal. But I mean, I do have to say, I will admit, I mean, I know I'm a liberal, and there are just times watching Trump so much because I am addicted to his daily briefings that I can't help but flashing back and missing Obama. And I know, I can say, oh, he was a great president, but there are certain things that Obama could do, and I think we've got one of them here that just shows you that he is better than any president we've ever had in the United States.
Sorry, I'm going to start over. Hey, get out of here.
That's the most persistent fly I've ever seen. Nice.
Skills.
Look at that form. Look at that. I mean, and you might think, why is Eric bringing up that clip? I think that's from the first term. That's an old clip. It's because of what happened at the press briefing yesterday. This is what we're dealing with now.
They needed aid. If they needed ventilators, we have thousands of ventilators currently on hand, and ventilators under construction, that are under construction. That's a mosquito. I don't like mosquitoes.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
He does not have the form. No one could see the mosquito. We don't even know if the mosquito was there. But I mean, it's the way he flicks it away. I mean, it's an interesting way that he does it. Is there a chance we could maybe slow that down and watch it again, Steve?
Well, that's good. He goes for the nothing.
Going.
He misses it.
flick. It's the extra flick at the end. It's that. It's the dexterity of his wrists there. Because I know he's got issues with his hands. I'm not talking about the size of his hands, but it's that fwa. The fwa.
All right. Do you think so? That's not why he missed the mosquito, because he was trying to attack it with a very small hand. Difficult to try and.
That is part of it, but I think there's the connotations of saying limp-wristed are more than I want to bring into this, but that is not a strong wrist. I'm going to say, you can tell he's definitely been away from his golf game. But to be fair to him, he's not good with live animals, as this classic clip reminds us.
His ass.
And get in the hands. You see the hands are there. Yeah. It's always the hands with him.
He moves his hands like someone in the 80s who pretends they know karate. That kind of, wait, whoa, I'm going to get that eagle.
He was in some films in the 80s, if you go back to Home Alone and that kind of thing. Oh, no, I think he was in Home Alone 2.
Yeah, in the lobby scene. And at no point was there... It's not... The lobby scene from Home Alone 2 is sadly not like the lobby scene from The Matrix.
Yeah.
With him and Macaulay Culkin hiding behind pillars.
Oh, Macaulay Culkin. Those were the days. Good actor. Yeah, it's a shame he's a heroin addict now, but he's still hanging in there. Have you been watching the daily press briefings?
I've watched some bits, yeah. There is a bit that I can chuck in for it. There's a bit where... So, in America, over here, this is what I like to do, and we talk about this in one of the podcasts. You can track us both down. We've got podcasts at the Yin Yang. I was talking recently about if you want to cheer yourself up as a Brit, just look to see what was happening in America. Because over here, we've had a few people complain that it's bad for the economy, but we've not had people protesting. Now, in America... There's loads of people turning up to big protests, spending time together to say, no, we deserve the right to turn up and spend time with other people. You're already doing it. But Donald Trump then defended them. A little clip of what he had to say.
These are great people. They've got cabin fever. They want to get back.
They've got cabin fever. Look, I got to be honest. He's the president of America, and therefore I believe every word he says. And I'm finding this time educational. I didn't realize that cabin fever is an actual medical fever. COVID-19 it doesn't have the word fever in it, but one of the symptoms is fever. I just thought cabin fever was somehow made up. I never thought there'd be a time when someone would be rushed into A&E, sweating profusely, and the doctor says, what seems to be the problem? Oh, he's burning up, doctor. Look at him. He's got a temperature of 105. Oh, I see. Has he spent any time recently in a log-based building? What'd you ask that for, doctor? Just asking, has he spent any time... in a holiday home, an Airbnb, anything? Well, now you mention it, doctor, he has. Cabin fever. I never thought that would happen, and now I'm worried. But I'd say what I am going to do. I'm going to take small twigs from the garden when I go for my daily walk and just inject them into myself as a form of vaccine against cabin fever. So thank you, Donald Trump. You have educated me.
Yeah, you see, the reason why a lot of people ask me about why he's doing these conferences, and I know that people who only watch Fox News and they just stream, it's live streaming of what his consciousness is into your homes, and what he has an incredible knack to do, and the reason why he gets away with so much is because he says two things at the same time that are diametrically opposed. And one of the things in his recent briefing, he was complaining about the press. The press were saying to him, look, you're asking to be praised as president. And he was saying, no, I'm not asking to be praised as president. This has nothing to do with me. But the way he says it is incredible. Just watch this.
It's not about me. No, nothing's about me. Look, you're never going to treat me fairly, many of you.
Oh,
it's not about me, but you're being very mean to me. Same sentence, two diametrically opposed ideas.
Yeah. He's a genius.
You can't contradict him because he said both things in the same statement.
Yeah, he's difficult to. It's a great position to be, isn't it? It's difficult to contradict someone if they're saying both sides of the argument.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Okay. Some feedback coming in from the messages. The bishop says the bird that attacked him, the eagle, was just wanted to nest in that wig. Good. I like the fact you've got some ornithological information. And the bishop also just says, "Oh, China. Sorry, I thought you were having a go at the size of my chin." the way I read that, I was like, oh no, I've gained a little bit of chin weight. Sadly, it's gone more on the chin, not on the neck, not on the peen. But if you missed that earlier on, you've got no idea what we're talking about. You can send your messages via whichever platform you're watching this on, and we stand a chance of getting some of them. Or you can email comics@somenews.co.uk is another way of doing it. Are we done with Trump? Because I got some kind of British news to chuck in.
Well, I guess the last thing is that, I mean, he's been laser focused on these COVID-19 at these press conferences, but he did have I've lost track of days. Yesterday, he had the head of the military that's been building the hospitals for the excess patients if they're needed, and the general laid out very effectively exactly what they were doing with the hospitals. And then the first question that Trump had about this general who's building things was this.
In charge of the wall on the southern border, and we want to build 450 miles of wall, and it's very much under construction. You might give them a little bit of an update. How are we doing with the wall?
Where's this hospital?
Where is hospital? Well, he's building loads of hospitals. The hospitals are all over the country.
Then here's how you solve it. Here's how you solve it. You get all of those hospitals and you build them on the border. Thus, one of their walls will be doubling as perimeter wall of the hospital and border wall of the United States. Solved it.
Yeah, and I said, who's going to break through that wall? Because the other side of that wall, a bunch of infected people.
It's a great way to keep them out.
That wall. But basically, Trump tweeted, that was his first question. Like, it's supposed to be about COVID-19, but he's like, don't forget the wall. But the problem is that he's saying not only has he done that, is he trying to still put up that wall. He's announced today on Twitter that he's going to ban all immigrants coming to the U.S., which I don't understand. I mean, where is he going to get his next wife from? I mean, if he bans all immigrants, and there's no more immigrants, I would say, if I was Ivanka, I'd be worried.
Good news for Donald Trump is that what he could do, if he wanted to do this, is he could fly people in from Romania like we've done for fruit picking. Smaller plane, you only need one for a wife, but or a few. I know what he's like. But
yeah,
another option.
Another way to get your fruit picked.
Yeah.
So does it British
on a message just come through, by the way. Joppy Dead says, I build the best hospitals. Nobody gets cabin fever in my hospitals. Probably a Donald Trump quote. I'll believe every word of it. If we can't prove that it's fake news, I'll believe it.
But then he would also deny building any of those hospitals and say he's never been to a cabin. That would be the end of that statement if it was a true Donald Trump statement.
Beautiful. What else has he been getting up to?
Right, I think those are all my Trump updates. You said you had some British stuff.
Yes. So look, we just sat here. We played some clips from America. Of course, it's not difficult to find clips of Donald Trump saying something stupid, as if we could somehow bring balance. Because whilst he may well have that American accent, I'm representing the UK here, and I know what you're thinking, Steve. Has anyone from the UK said something so goddamn stupid it makes you want to just eat your own ankle? I'm glad you asked.
I think that the world should take a week of quarantine every year just to remember this time and remember each other. I really do. I think it's other species use it. It's called hibernation.
Oh, so much to unpick in that. Firstly, so that's Idris Elba. He had coronavirus. The lady to his side there, my favourite bit of the whole clip is when he says we should quarantine once a year every year, and she goes thinking he's kidding, and then he says no, I really mean it, and he goes, she swallows like, oh, he's being an idiot again, but we're on camera. And then we don't even need to deal with the fact that he said other species do it, it's called hibernation. No. Point to the animal that hibernates for 1 week a year because they're remembering the diseases, and you win the prize. But I don't think that's why squirrels pack it in. I think it's because of the temperature. But it's a bizarre way to try and remember in the future. I'm all for remembering this, and we will remember it. Eric, we're the generation who will go on and on about this. During the lockdown, oh, it were tough. Oh, the generations did in the war. We didn't have it as hard. The grandkids will be saying, like, Granddad, what was it like during the lockdown? Oh, we had it tough. I lost a lot of work and only got to perform on national telly once a week. Oh, I had to somehow get by on that money. Oh, did you have to travel long distances for food? Could get a cardo delivered, but not when you wanted it. Thankfully, yep. I was in all day because we weren't allowed to leave the house. So it won't be as bad, is what I'm trying to say. But that's no way to remember a disease, is it? I'm sure during Spanish flu, the years after that, they didn't suddenly trim off a few million just out of respect. After the World War II finished, people didn't take a weekend holiday in a trench in their back garden just for the good old times. This is no way to remember things. I just think that would be the worst part of it.
If you did dig a trench in your back garden, people did not think you were well.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I don't know. I mean, he's in quarantine with his lockdown with his daughter there. I guess they're having a nice time. She didn't. No,
I'm not sure that's his daughter.
It's not. I mean, but she looked quite young.
Well, look. I mean, that's one way to celebrate the lockdown, isn't it? Once a year, 1 week, locked in a cabin with someone like that.
Is it his granddaughter? I don't understand the relationship there, Steve.
Yeah, I'm sure. Look, I don't know. I don't fully know their details. If they are going out at some point, he might make it official and probably adopt her. So, all possible. That's not what we're here to comment on.
Adopt someone that you're married to already.
I'm sure you can. It's true. So we've done 21 minutes in this already. Beautiful work. If you've got any questions and comments, send them through. Also, I wanted to bring this in because we've been talking about our stand-up comedians. Look, we're out of work. It's a difficult time for us. And, there you go. Got to make sure the books are in the shot. You can buy them on Amazon. Because it's difficult to do stand-up comedy via a webcam. There's no audience, so there's no laughter, and we're used to that, but that's not what we're here to talk about. What I thought I'd do is, if ever I've got any jokes that need to be a bit punchier, like a stand-up comedian, I did it.
Look at that.
Yep. You can track down the companion podcast to this show, and we talk about the fact that I promised I'd plug it in, and it's not a prop. I can turn it on. Are you ready? Hi, it's nice to be here. Is this thing on? But it's not going to work, is it? I mean, how could you do stand-up comedy? So what do you do for a living? Nothing. You're furloughed. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
getting so used to doing sit-down comedy in my underpants. I don't know if I want to go back to a live stage anymore.
Never go back. So we've covered a lot of the news. I know there was another thing. I think we both saw this on the news. Look, there's an erotic element to what's happening with the lockdown. Some of the messages, and you can send messages, we'll talk about this when we do our Thursday show, but there was a news story in the Mirror where experts, and I didn't get the headline for this, but experts are telling people not to make homemade sex toys. Now, because there's a lot of homemade stuff going on. Everyone's making banana bread because no one can eat bananas. It's not tricky. Eat the damn banana. But anyway, they make banana bread. There was a story in the news, and there's going to be more on this in the podcast at the end of the week. IKEA have released instructions on how to make their meatballs at home. I tried it. Ended up with 3 ingredients left over. Thank you. I'm here all night. Thank you. But it's a classic. Come on. It's a classic, Steve.
Yeah.
But I never thought that people would have to make homemade sex toys. I'm not sure.
They're still delivering them.
Are they? From a distance? That's true.
I mean, that's what someone told me. I don't know where I heard that from.
And if you did make one, why would it be dangerous? Surely don't use anything with moving parts or explosives. It's just, like, basically use anything that the Terminator from Terminator 2 could mimic.
Yeah, you don't want...
But when it comes to getting turned on, getting aroused, I believe, your president had something.
Yeah, the president. I think I know we're a new show and we're still growing our viewers, but I don't know if you realize this, but Donald Trump actually caught an episode of one of our shows, and I think he liked it. I think he thought it was appealing, even if he didn't like it initially.
Once it was reluctantly aroused. It was hard to get it aroused, and it is hard to get it aroused, but we got it aroused.
I mean, that just makes me feel ill.
I mean, the thing is, he must have known what he was saying, because the other day he also was talking about the models of the virus, and he said, "Look at all of these models that we've got up here," and then he couldn't help himself and went, "Those aren't the kind of models I'm used to looking at." So he knows how to make a joke. So there's no way he wasn't repeating arousal.
He needs one of these.
Just waiting to say, This isn't what normally arouses me. But somehow, Melania must have had a word with him about the model joke.
Gave him a death stare. He needs one of these for doing the press conference. Serious thing. Now, if we look over to the models, not the kind of models I normally see. Am I right? Who's with me?
Yeah, none of us are with you, Donald. No. We're all dying. That's fine. Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess the conferences are good for one thing, and that is, I'm going to save that clip and play it over and over and over again.
Okay, beautiful work.
I find it. What's the word?
There is no word. There is no
Strangely
word.
Arousing.
So as we wrap this bad boy up, you can send your messages via many of the various platforms. You can share it. There is the companion podcast to this as well. If you search for Comics Aren't Essential, where we've decided to basically be our own fan podcast, where we do a podcast about the making of the show. Tomorrow's episode, we need to talk about how we both turned up wearing blue suits and blue shirts.
Well, you said wear a tie, and I did. You did not tell me what you were going to be wearing.
I wanted you to, put some effort into this. This is the internet done.
We can't match. This looks ridiculous. So,
Anything else that we need to plug?
I mean, if you enjoyed the show, you can contribute to it because we have no income. So if you wanted to do that, I think there's meant to be. I'm not sure where you're watching. So if you find it back on YouTube, I guess, or we'll tweet the links if you'd like to contribute to the show. We've got a page on now Ko-Fi, which you pointed out to me, which is ko-fi.com/comics aren't essential. You could maybe chuck us a bone.
Yeah, I think the general concept is if you'd like to help someone, if you enjoyed a show enough that you'd buy someone a coffee afterwards, slap some dosh in there, and it will keep us afloat. It won't get us up to the level of being, like they do web shows like this where there's the bald one and the posh one, and they don't need your money. That one. Yeah. But for this one, maybe slap a couple of quid over here, and it'll help some of us out.
Although they get a lot more money from the taxpayers than we do.
Living off the state. Beautiful work.
But so check out our podcast. You can follow us on social medias and things, and watch you on national television.
Oh yes, the MASH Report is back on Friday, and I don't know if we've talked about this elsewhere, but how on Friday there was the actual live version, which is filmed. I say live version, it's all pre-recorded, but the latest episode was filmed in that room over there, which has been converted into a TV studio for the MASH Report. But I barely leave the house. I've not been exercising. I can't fit in the lower part of the suit, but very much like yourself, I don't need to wear anything on the lower half. Then, Friday 10:30, they repeated a MASH Report from 2019. What a cruel thing of BBC Two to do, to let everyone very easily see how much I've aged and gained weight in the last year. Thank you, BBC Two, for really making me feel bad about myself.
That's why BBC. That's why they should be finished. BBC is finished.
Let's not get rid of them too quickly. We're going to need some of it. So yeah, that's on Friday as well. There's another episode. We're aiming for 8:00 Thursday night for one of these.
Not 8:00 because that's when we clap for the carers, isn't it, Steve?
8:30.
That's right.
Yeah, we fell for that.
So half an hour clapping, and then we'll be there.
Yeah, beautiful work. Meanwhile, thank you very much for that. We're bringing it in exactly in the half hour. Thank you very much. Oh, wait a minute. There's one final message that just popped through in time. Joppy Jid said, if it's any consolation, Steve, your home studio is far better than Rachel's, but the person in the shot isn't. So, yeah. No, I'm aware that, her webcam, the stuff she's done from home looks great. The webcam's not as good as the camera they've sent around, but she looks great on camera. And there is a picture that I tweeted. Somehow I've taken this professional camera and made it look like I've just rung someone's doorbell that's got video enabled. It's just kind of like, hello, Steve on telly?
It's because you're leaning in.
I do.
I'm leaning in. You can't do that.
Hello. And Sharon says, sounding and looking great, guys. Splendid effort on the sartorial front. We didn't really. It's like turning up to an event and realise we were wearing the same outfit because we don't see each other until we click on with the cameras. So
that's very nice for her to say. I'm just going to Google sartorial just to.
Next time we turn up wearing the same outfit, it's going to be shirts and skins, and that is not going to be good for anyone.
Birthday suits on Thursday.
So that guarantees even fewer viewers. Till next time, thanks very much for watching. We'll catch you around. Bye.
Bye.